Hello. Okay, as we begin, I have to acknowledge I don't know how terrible or good the picture might look at the moment. I spent a few hours this morning really trying to focus and set up two monitors. I didn't pay £150 for a new monitor, no. I paid £150 for two monitors, one broken and one cheap, portable. But pretty good, exactly what I needed. And I just needed to set them up. And it's been a few months now, and it causes me so much problems. It's unbelievable. And I finally found the space in life, my life, to get them working, to get them working. And they were working perfectly, even with the broken one. And I needed to do the next step, which I can't remember what it was. That's it, plug in the webcam. And to plug in the webcam, I needed to unplug the dongle. And well, as I unplugged the dongle, I realized the HDMI port cable, one of the monitors is plugged into the dongle. This should be plugged into the main port. Surely that's better. And I plugged it into the main port and it broke the monitors again. So the monitors, all the color and brightness is incorrect at the moment. I don't know how the color is. If I do look like some sort of glowing what? Well, just glowing, a glowing human being. It's because I haven't had a chance to perfect the colour today. Okay, what else can we say? In the direction of healing. In the direction of healing. In the direction of healing. I came out recently with what my biggest problem is in life in terms of just realigning my head on my shoulders today. The simple things. Not at the perfect angle, not at a goddamn right angle, but at the angle that's just required so the body can know, top. That's what that ring under my hat was for. So it can know top. I came out a few days ago and I told the whole world what my physical health problem is. And I said 6 months ago I was 2 weeks away from getting underway with life. Making money, but it's not about making money, it's making good strides, good change for the world, positive change. And that stopped. My physical body got in the way, and it's really, really scary. It's really, really scary. Um, and I'm just trying to talk to myself into some sort of action to the situation in terms of getting back aligned to getting back aligned to a future. At the moment, I've had to shut my whole life down to be able to function. I'm on like critical system alert operational mode at the moment. What that means is my future doesn't count diddly squat. All that counts is my present moment. What do I want to do? What's the most healing thing to do? What should I do? Out of all the chores I have to do, which are the most important, pressing, how pressing are they? In terms of all the creative things that I could do in the moment, what's the best one? What one can I easily do? What one could I do if I spent a little money? What one could I do that I can't even think of that's perfect? And that's where I am. Consideration to everything, very present moment. And I'm doing stuff, and it's to accommodate a very bad picture for me. I'm very depressed in my perception. If I was to tell you what my problems are, it would sound like you're very depressed. And that is a reality that I experience. The point is, if I'm doing things for my future, which are projects and good things for the planet, the world, I feel a lot better about doing. And well, I think that's the problem. When I'm doing stuff for the world, I'm going at lightning pace. Lightning, nothing's standing in my way. That's my mentality there. So if I'm doing something for that, that energy that's flowing in me, that's making it more, oh, fantastic, fantastic. If I'm instead of just doing what creates project, building an app, I want to make an app. Instead of sitting down and making an app, I sit down and do what projects have I got to get underway in terms of giving at the moment. So say make a website. Make a website. Let's call it making a website. If I'm making a website now for part of my future that's all really positive and clean and contains a lot of energy, and when I think about it, it gives me spirit and life, it gives me a lot of energy, but that energy says you have to go fast for this energy. This energy doesn't really do sitting down nothing. It's a different energy for sitting down nothing. And that might be it. I might have told myself what to do. If I can get myself focused on going forwards, I use two different creative pursuits. One says do nothing, that has no purpose and is just like an app. Maybe I don't give it to anybody and just keep it for myself. And it has no worth to life other than the present moment. And it's a really slow energy as a result. But it's still creative, so it's still positive. And then my future, which is all about business projects and giving and healing and achieving and thriving, positivity, is a very, very boosting energy. And that's where I've got to get to. But the point is, I know I'm not going lightning speed as light. I'm going lightning speed as a human being. And what does going lightning speed as a human being look like? It doesn't look like lightning, even though it feels like it. It's just a case of when I get going, I will not stop. And I just want to make sure everything is out of the way before I get going first. That's how it's lightning. It's lightning sideways, not lightning forward. It's lightning all around, present moment lightning. But it looks like everything we're doing in life is moving a million miles an hour, but still slow. I can't go a million miles an hour when I'm not in my physical body first. And if I do creative pursuits that don't really go anywhere, I'll just like, well, no, I could create a really healing space for me doing that, and that's what I would really like to do. That's what I should do. It's just that I'm so depressed as a result of my life. I need a boost to my life. If I could do just sitting down, create projects that don't go anywhere, or that might be just little bits of money or little bits of productivity, not anything to the most important thing that concerns. That's the point. Is to say the mind disconnects its survival mentality that I must do the most important thing first. That's how I operate. Survival is the nervous system in stress, and that's my problem. Really important to me in this body, maybe not everybody. And the way I'm talking about it, the way I've always lived, is creative projects that don't go anywhere, and creative projects that go somewhere. When I'm in a place of needing healing, I get on with creative projects that don't go anywhere. And that's the best place. Just sit and create projects that don't go anywhere until you've eaten enough creative projects that don't go anywhere to start getting on with a project that goes somewhere that you're sort of thinking about over here, planning over here in the back of your mind whilst you're just doing going nowhere creativity. And then by the time you've eaten all the going nowhere creativity, you've thought about it in the back of your mind and it's like perfect timing. Oh, I'll start eating some going somewhere creativity. And as you start eating going somewhere creativity, what you're doing is all of that going nowhere creativity that was really, really slow, really, really going nowhere. I have all the time and ability to sit here and do this bit of artwork. Not even artwork, you know. For a man, they could do a bit of DIY. That's creativity. Just maybe don't read the manual. That's extra creativity. And basically, what you're doing is you're programming the healing of the nervous system through creativity, going at a goddamn speed that's set and defined that the pace of the human soul in going nowhere creativity. And you really know the speed of going nowhere creativity. It just doesn't matter how fast or slow it's because it doesn't go anywhere. It's just fantastic to do. And at the perfect time you finished eating all the going nowhere creativity. It's just for healing to get back to going somewhere creativity. And when you're going somewhere creativity, what you're doing is you all the things you're doing on this side are at the speed that you've done stuff on this side. So you're going somewhere creativity that's going at lightning speed compared to the present moment time. No speed exists in this dimension. Looks like looks like going nowhere creativity speed still. It looks like going nowhere creativity speed. And that's the way I normally do, because that's the way I eat. That's the way I eat. That's the way I live life. If I find something that I like, I will eat and eat and eat and eat it until I've ate as much of it as I desire before my body says no more, before my mind says no more, before my heart says no more, before my spleen bursts. Some sign that says maybe it's a good time not to eat anymore, and I say, okay, I don't want to fight, I just really like eating that. And I stop. That's the way I love to eat. At the moment, I have to eat differently. I have to do a little bit of boosting creativity, and I have to do a little bit of going nowhere creativity. But I know the speed of going nowhere creativity. I'm I'm light years away from it because it's beyond speed, and I'm doing speed at the moment. But I know it inside of me. I wouldn't give hardly anything not to have that with me all the time. And I know the work I would need to do at any given moment to get back there. It's just my life is so depressing. I need the positivity of my future, not of doing something productive. That has no worth unless you desperately need the money. And I do need the money. But if you can prioritize in front of any projects that need money, projects that go nowhere, and you say, no, God damn it, my creativity goes nowhere first. It goes nowhere first and then it goes somewhere. You buy an extra layer within you of golden space. Go nowhere with your creativity and own it. The words were passing in my head. How does that sound? I don't even know what it means. Going nowhere with your creativity but owning it. Getting the coffee. Didn't check yesterday's live stream. I was impressed with the microphone for the first time about two live streams ago. It was plugged directly into the computer. Since then, I've put it through a Bluetooth connector. I'm hoping the microphone still sounds good. Some ginseng in the coffee, we say. Some ginseng in the coffee. Not too much. Not too much. Don't be quite coffee coffee tasty, this ginseng. Coffee tasty. I put some in my smoke. Nobody ever said you couldn't smoke a herb. Nobody ever said you couldn't smoke a herb. I can't believe there's not more people in the world. There's so many people that smoke tobacco and cannabis. But that's the problem. There's only tobacco and cannabis. And you need two herbs to figure it out. Why? Well, you smoke one herb. So most people go to tobacco first. And they smoke tobacco first and they're like, oh my god, I'm smoking tobacco. How fantastic. And they don't think about it. This is tobacco's perfect to smoke this way. Oh, if I try another herb to smoke the same way as tobacco, it's not the same. So it's one herb at a time. This is my journey now. This is my experience. And then you add a little something else to it. Legal cannabis, which is the main other option. There used to be a selection of hides. If you went down Camden Market about 15, 20 years ago, 20 years ago, they were legal. You could add them to your smoke, but they're not legal in the UK anymore. But marijuana is really, really popular, even though it's not legal this second. It's been legalized here in the UK. They're doing a good job, I think, the way they're doing it here in the UK. Not the Disneyland experience America has got. Californian marketed marijuana. Um, so yeah, you have the tobacco and then you add marijuana and you ask yourself, well, what am I doing? And then you side of yourself, you go, well, I'm adding marijuana to tobacco, and you go, yeah, but what am I doing? And then you say, oh yeah, I'm adding one herb to one herb, and what do you get? Oh, two. Yeah, I've got two herbs. So what does that mean? Oh, I know three and four. I could smoke more herbs. Nobody ever thinks that. Because the problem is, tobacco's right, a perfect herb to smoke by itself. Many herbs aren't really nice that way. But if we learn that we can add stuff to tobacco, we can add other herbs to tobacco that aren't just marijuana, that maybe aren't the best smoke, but are medicinal, and I'm smoking anyway, and I'm getting my medicine anyway. What the hell do I care? I am smoking medicine. How hard can life be? Add the extra herbs in. Tell me what to take. I do not mind. Because I smoked it all already. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, I can't taste the ginseng and the coffee. This ginseng tastes like and smells like coffee to me. If you put it in coffee too strong, it's like you've got two coffee tastes, and you have to choose between two coffees when you just want one coffee. So it has to be a background taste, not too much, just a little bit. Oh, I need to clean my teeth. I know it's for the channel. Once I'm set up with the technology, I'll say, right, teeth, hair, appearance, flat, technology first. That's the way I've always been. I love technology. I've learned to love health. I've been taught to worship my own human physical body beyond anything and everything else. So I've put my problem out there. It's pretty serious. It's like at the moment, I'm not going to go into my problem again. It's too embarrassing. My problem was there a few days ago when I looked terrible. But I've looked terrible for a few days now. So it's a terrible one. I think I was wearing a hat at the time, if that helps. A few days ago, I confessed the truth. A video about the truth. My physical health problem is really present because at the moment I feel like where my body is so weak that could happen any time, any day. And when it does, my life is so much harder. And I don't normally get a chance to plan for it or anything. And I've managed to just say to myself, hang on a second, it is likely to happen again. And I'm about 3, 4 hits now under already what I can realistically take to be able to function in life. And it's going to happen again and again. And when it happens, no matter how positive someone thinks they can be, the reality of what's going on for my physical body will traumatize most people. And each time I have to be prepared to up the level of work whilst I've just taken a massive, massive loss. The only hope I realistically have without my life being a lot more painful is to get some creative projects on the technology I've recently purchased, replacing my old broken technology. And when it happens next time, whatever my physical body needs to do, allow it to happen. The trauma that I know I experienced as a result of going through it, just brush it off. Just brush it off and say, look, that was horrible. That was sickening. That's probably going to happen again tomorrow and the day after and the day after at the very least. But that's the situation. Every other option is worse. Yeah, we were just starting a creative project. Might not be able to get on with that for a few days. Don't feel bad. Just accept that as the situation. In a few days, the first possible opportunity that comes round, when we're beaten the absolute hell out of, have all of our energy taken from us, have to increase the work level. The emotions are unreal. The pain is beyond words. The love isn't to be seen or felt. I can't smell for my goddamn life, but if I did, it wouldn't smell good, I know that. And I can't really eat properly at the moment, as much as I'm maintaining a healthy diet. So, that's where I am. We didn't get to the ears in my hearing. And I've got to somehow just focus myself that I can be clear. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad that happens in my life, I get to create projects ASAP. And I chill out on a computer where my nervous system can be relaxed, other than the electromagnetic fields going on from all the technology, but that's okay. I know how to remedy that. Keep up with my healing machine, get my supplements back on track, get my green juice every day on track. Just know that whatever happens, I should really take my level of nutrition up a level. So the depression means I want sweets, I want certain food. Depression, certain foods feed depression that way. When I know the foods I should be eating at the moment is cold that my body needs. It's cold, it's clear of mind. This is what my body needs at this moment. Not for everybody all the time, just now for me. That's what I know. That's what is needed for about a year and a half. So a little bit of protein. Doesn't matter about carbs, but you have to make sure the right carbs in a little amount and supporting vegetables and nutrition. And that diet is fantastic when I'm on it. It was so good. I need so little food, and my stomach, my body feels fantastic in comparison to eating any other way. So that's going to take a little bit of extra effort to push myself out of the depression and say, no, Gabriel, when you're not depressed, you do not eat chocolate with any sugar in. And at the moment, I've been eating chocolate with coconut sugar. I figured it's better than stevia, and stevia isn't really a sugar, but stevia is a sugar alcohol, I think. The sugar alcohols are bad too, but not as bad as sugar. But I know my system. I've been eating stevia for years. My system says at the moment, whatever's bad about stevia, my system's had enough, and to take the least worst option on the side of sugar, and that's coconut sugar. And it's only a little bit of coconut sugar. I get like a 70% coconut. But even that I wouldn't eat when I'm not depressed. It's only because I'm depressed I'm allowed to eat that. When we're depressed, the energy of depression is heavy, it's soothing. If we put something into our body that troubles our nervous system in the smallest way, depression just soothes the nervous system and says, don't worry, eat a little bit more. And we've got to keep it healthy because if we start putting on weight, start actually doing damage with the food that we're putting into the body, because that's still true, push the nervous system too far, basically. You've got to keep the respect there. Oh, I'm in depression. I am going to take advantage of this. I am going to allow myself a bit nicer food where my nervous system can just take it, but not take the piss. We take the piss, our body falls apart, and we're stuck in depression forever. Keeping a fine balance, but depression is not wanted, is it? If you can be with or without depression, unless you're just like, man, I love the energy, it's so soothing, and you've got to do the work if you want to be on the side of depression. My side is not in depression first, but I don't mind depression. I don't really mind it. The left or right, I'm fine. Either side, I'm fine. But ultimately, what I can see I need to do in my life, I'm going to be on the other side, not on the side of depression. I hope that made sense. The little bit of information and guidance that might help one see clearer in these places that I'm not so bothered with. Lots of things to do to get myself healed. And what makes sense first in terms of my mind is my mind to shut down my life and forget about the future. Forget about your future. You've just got to stay present. Not necessarily even stay present. You just got to forget about your future. Get on with stuff that doesn't make sense. Relax the nervous system. Pardon me. And I came to the conclusion that I've got to do both. A bit of going nowhere and a bit of boost for my future. A bit of fast. And to do that, I've got to do a bit of tidying up. I've got to clean my desk. I've got to clean the kitchen. And then, and then, what happens? Well, I'm finally in a position where I can sit at the desk for the first time in months. It feels like I've been stuck in this chair for months. It's not too far from the truth at all. And if I could get to the desk and sit in a chair, that's a different energy. Body would fight and fight, do it. And I'm thinking this month, we call it the saffron healing, Greek saffron healing 2 week trial. Okay, for focus, for focus. I smoke saffron sometimes also. The Indian saffron is really, really serious. It feels serious. The Greek saffron that I smoked, it feels like too much energy, so much energy. It's like I'm coming alive through energy. And it's like an internal fizz, almost, an internal fizz. So that's what I sort of need to be able to get on with some creative projects. I'm thinking if I order some saffron, it's not cheap, and I know if I smoke it all the time, it lasts about 2 weeks. Try and get into the projects alongside saffron. Greek saffron, Greek saffron, Greek saffron. So yeah, I've seen now. What have I said? So in all my thinking, what there hasn't been a lot of thinking. It's been like, oh my god, what do I need? Or what do I need? I can't think. What do I need? All of the time, constantly asking that question, stressing over every little detail of the situation. And after a bit of time passes, I stand back and think, how many times have I screamed I need to do something creative? And I know that the first step is to sit down and do something creative. My brain registers it then. I'm screaming it, saying I need it and need it 1,000 times. Because after I say I need something, I need to think about it, confirm that it's okay, and get on with it. I'm not able to think at the moment, but what I can do is count the screens, count the times that I've said something, and after saying something so many times, I can make an assertion that this direction is the best direction to go. And I figured out first step is create projects, and I've just said how to get to create projects. How did I say to get to creative projects? Well, I need my desk clean. I need my desk clean and I need to sit at the desk. Is that all? And I've got two projects, a boost and a present moment going nowhere project. That's all I know that I really fit into my emotional perspective now where I've shut down my future. And really, that's all I can do at the moment in terms of healing. Just know that that is the absolute best thing for me. To maintain my life, don't throw it in the bin where possible. Maintain all the elements of my life, if not make them better. Don't stop making them better until I'm there. And the likelihood is I've got another loss or two coming up. So it's really important I get to those creative projects in the next day or two. I don't know if I can do that. That's really important because when that hit comes, it might take a few weeks for me to come round and find myself in the same place, say, oh, yeah, 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 great projects. Okay, that's the first step. How am I getting? That's really the situation for me. I went proper, how do we call this? Proper disposable income. I went for proper disposable income today. Yesterday was a really sad day for me. I wasn't able to go to the farmer's market and get my normal high quality raw milk so I can make some kefir with, some milk kefir. It basically ferments the milk into a really sour yogurt. I've said it in this channel before. And I wasn't able to go. I wasn't able to go. And I wasn't able to go last week. And well, last week after not being able to go, I said, okay, let's go to the supermarket then and get some bottled kefir that's not as good as buying the raw milk and making it yourself. But it's some still like at least it tastes like kefir, even if it hasn't got the medicine, real stuff. And I didn't go last week. I couldn't get myself to the supermarket for the whole week, and I didn't want to miss kefir making for another week. So I placed an order for delivery, just a few items, £10 off. I got a £10 off code, and I thought, yeah, I'm having that. I ordered this stuff, and it comes to about the same price that I would have paid in the supermarket. But it hasn't cost me any more money. But I'm disabled, man. I am disabled, and I barely allow myself this stuff. I say I've got to go to the shops. I've got to go to the supermarket. I don't have the money to pay an extra £10 on a £15 order to have it delivered to my door, even if it's not about going to the shop. That's how much this would have otherwise cost. I paid £15 with £10 off, and I made my calculation. If I went to the supermarket, this would have cost me £15 because they charge more to get it delivered also per item, not just delivery fee and service charge. My question is, how does everybody justify being able to get stuff delivered to their door all of the goddamn time when this is me and my life and I can only do this every so often? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to fight. I'm not trying to fight. I'm just grateful for my career that I'll be able to have something this week that is still medicinal. It's still medicinal. It's not 100% as good medicinal. It's a long way off the same good. And I've got my big bunch of parsley that I can never find if I go to the supermarket and myself. They never have this. So there we go. I think I'm not going to break my body for today and possibly for a week or two. I'm just going to say, oh, that's how to look at it. That's how to look at it. Life has to say, whatever you want to do in creativity is fine. But life has to look like you're doing going nowhere creativity all of the time. If you want to sneak in some boost creativity, you can sneak in some boost creativity. Just as long as if you stop for a second, turn around and look at your life, it still looks like going nowhere creativity like. And then you can do a bit of boost creativity too. So that's how much boost creativity I'm allowed. Otherwise, it's got to be going nowhere creativity. Don't worry, the channel is going nowhere creativity. I'm allowed to make live streams whenever I want because I go nowhere with them. Yesterday's live stream is proof, and I found another hat. Yesterday's live stream is proof. I went absolutely goddamn nowhere with yesterday's live stream. Just to say to myself, Gabriel, you're allowed to go goddamn nowhere with these live streams. You have to do that for your life. The people forgive you. Do not worry. That's why white shirt. That's why white shirt. Perfect amount of ginseng in the coffee. So that's how I work with feeling. Next step, at least the next step. The next step. Just forget the next step. And if just knowing the next step isn't enough, how am I getting to the next step? And I need to say it to myself again. I need to clean my desk. I need to clean my kitchen. I need to get a chair in in just here, just here, where I can sit at the desk and use some of this technology to focus, to get into a zone that I know I can get into when I use technology. I just zone out. I become project. I become project. Projecting human body using technology, making final creation. I haven't done that for years. That's what I'm hoping to do. I think it'll be good for me. Alongside that, I've got DIY and flat upgrade to do with a few little bits. Fixing a few breaks mostly that I've broken in the past year. I need to make my desk movable and put it on wheels. I need to complete this other desk and give it RGB lights and a power bank. But first of all, I've got to get to the desk. I've got to clean my kitchen. I've got to clean my desk. I've got to clean the in between. And then I've got program, two creativities within a no going anywhere creativity life, greater life. That's how I'm gonna do it. That's all I've got as focus. I can't go any further than that without taking greater risks. But I know that's safe to focus on. That's all I've got to do, whether it's good or bad. Well, that's it. 48 minutes